Okay, I'm pretty enough. Let's start.
Hi guys, welcome today to episode 10. If you ever wondered what we're doing when we're not renovating the chateau, we're hanging out with students and going on cool out trips. If you want to come along on the journey with us, take a couple minutes and you'll get to see everything that we got to do.
Yeah, we had a great bunch. Now, this was our biggest bunch ever. At its biggest, we had 23. Here they are in front of the Eiffel Tower. They're all jet lagged, but they're having fun already. Every time we do these trips, we start off with a swing kind of around Germany and France to start up north. We see a bunch of cool sights, and then we spend a bunch of time at the chateau, and then we go on another trip at the end. Yeah,
exactly.
And we're trying to accomplish a bunch of things. As you know, people have these chateaux, and they have a lot of different reasons for it. Some are following a dream. Some are trying to renovate an old building. Some are starting a business. For us, it's about young people. We're trying to educate, and we're trying to create a cost-effective way to get a bunch of young people together and give them a chance to grow and explore their world and explore their faith. And so it's been super fun. It's super fun. They were a good bunch this year.
They were.
You like them?
Great. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, me too. You're seeing pictures of us walking around Europe. We're looking at where we went to all kinds of cool places in Paris. I went to the Louvre. We saw a bunch of artifacts. The Mona Lisa.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many things that they learn when they're going in the city, not to mention art and history, but just logistics of everyday life, just how to get around Paris, how to use the metro, how to book hotels. All these kind of things are interesting things that they need to learn about.
And it's great for them to see that the world is bigger than the country they grew up in, that there's other people that do things well. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's our hotel. We stay right down by Notre Dame. Now, interesting thing about Europe, sometimes you don't have an elevator. So we were on the 7th floor. Watch the high-speed climb.
Well, we weren't all on the 7th floor, but we were on the 7th
Leslie and
floor.
Rob were on the 7th floor. And here you can hear how tired I am.
That wasn't so bad.
Yeah, that's a little embarrassing. But it's 7 floors. That's like really high.
7 floors. It was
Anyways,
high. There's
it
no
was a nice
question.
view, though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I had the dog to pull me up, so
Yeah, he's
that helped.
Mr.
Yay,
Bingley.
Mr. Bing.
Yeah, go Mr. Bingley.
Yeah.
You wanna start on
So the joy of out trips sometimes is a small joy, and that's when you have to do all the driving. Driving's kind of interesting in Europe. In this case, where you see at the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, there are no lines on the road. It's just kind of a bit of a free-for-all. You just kind of got to get in there and go where you're going to go and take whatever exit you're going to take. So, you know, it's not exactly the same as we're used to.
Yeah, it's kind of a joy. It's more of a curse, I would say. Here's parking. We pulled up in Belgium to this place, and they're like, oh, yeah, we got a place. We had about 1 or 2 inches of clearance between, you know, when those poles came along. And so, I mean, I've sped this up here, but we had to go in there and make 2 left turns as well to park.
Yeah,
so
it
it's
was
the
very
stuff
tight.
of nightmares for claustrophobic folks. But
Yeah.
parking is always your challenge in Europe. We did a bunch of other fun things. We went to Verdun, saw Fort Douaumont, which is always amazing. Yeah, then on the way over to Germany, we went to Metz.
Yeah, always a beautiful cathedral, one of our favorite stops. Of course, they get to eat some French food already after they just got off the plane, and they loved it. It was always a good shot there in front of the cathedral.
And on to Germany, where inexplicably I have no picture of Heidelberg Castle, but we do have this cool tower, which was back open.
Yeah, it was. We haven't been able to walk to the top of that in a few years already. And of course...
Yeah, the Thinkstadt, the acoustics in here are incredible. Have a listen. Okay, I'm going to try to talk in a regular voice. That's pretty much like how I teach normally. Can you hear me? Yeah? You can hear me? And after Heidelberg, beautiful city, we went to Worms, Germany, which is a place famous for Martin Luther.
Yep.
And also the oldest Jewish cemetery in Europe. 1,000 years old, beautiful spot.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's amazing the dates that you can read on the stones, and they're just very, very old.
Yeah, and there's just something to be said for, you know, seeing other people's have lived and here kind of seeing a quick look at their story. And then a good German-Italian restaurant. There's lots of food shots, you were saying.
There are a lot of food shots.
We did have lots of good food on the trip, which is always fun. Then we went to Belgium. Now, we had kind of an interesting experience in Belgium. On one hand, it's a beautiful city.
The middle town center is gorgeous. The amount of gold and filigree and you know, carving and everything on each of the buildings are just beautiful in every way.
But we also kind of had a weird situation. Oh, yeah,
and of course, Belgian waffles.
Yeah, I mean, the food is fantastic. This was a Moroccan place.
Yeah, the food was great.
And so lots of great food. But we also kind of ran into a situation where there was a bunch of guys just kind of sitting outside the hotel.
Yeah, it was
kind of catcalling girls, and it didn't feel super safe. And it was like 300 men and 10 women out there.
It was very weird.
And I mean, when you see that, right away you're thinking, something's wrong, your intuition. So I mean, it kind of put a sour taast on Belgium, for us, to be honest. And I'm sure not everybody in Belgium is catcalling kind of folks.
It might have been just where we were staying.
Yeah, but it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool, guys. You got to stop that. And then after that, we caught a little bit of Costco. The students get to enjoy it. And then to the Chateau. Isn't that beautiful? All those shoes.
Which grew amazingly.
Yeah, we just kept getting more shoes.
As the time went on, I think they all just left them there.
Now, this year's bunch was super sportsy. Even though we had more girls than guys, we had lots of girls that liked sports, and they were really good at volleyball. Check out the action here. This is pretty decent volleyball.
Basketball, volleyball, soccer.
We played. What else did we play?
Badminton.
Yeah, a lot of different sports. At the start, we just had this little badminton net we were playing volleyball with, and so they were so good that we figured we'd go try. Oh, look at that! That's me almost scoring and then falling down. Boy, when you're old, you think you can do stuff, but then you get out there and you're like, I cannot actually do that. I'm no longer athletic. We also had, we had 3 guys on the golf team at Multnomah, my school, and those guys are fantastic golfers.
They are really good.
So they actually talked me into going to our local golf course in Beaujeu, which is quite beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait to go see.
Yeah, it's a little spendy, but absolutely beautiful. And then we thought, well, if we have one there, why don't we make our own course around the Chateau?
So you did.
Yeah, we made our own 9-hole course. We just put those milk crates down, and you have to get the ball within 10 feet of the crate.
Well, they're apple juice crates.
Oh, apple juice crates. Thank you very much.
Even better.
Yeah, and so of course, their record score, 9 holes, was 13. If you can imagine that. Now, not everybody was on the golf team. You know, some guys were just learning, but they were having fun too. There we go. Janae is very athletic, actually, and I think she was golfing the opposite hand. And Hayden here was giving it a shot. It's harder than it looks. It's harder than it looks. Golf. But so we went back to volleyball.
It's all good.
But there was tons of sports, and I
they
personally
did a great
enjoyed
job.
that quite a bit.
Yeah.
One more spike for us here.
Definitely our sportiest crowd.
Yeah. And then there's you and Kathy. It was kind of nice. These guys work so hard in the kitchen that sometimes they would come up and watch from the high balcony shot.
Yeah, it was great.
Not everything was sports. The students all wanted to go down into the tunnel and check out the hidden
Cove.
Cove.
Yeah.
So here we go. There's Rebecca.
Yeah.
And there's Mac. And
it's
Tyler.
always a bit daunting when you walk down here because there's tons of trees and leaves and dirt and
stinging nettles.
Yes. So when you come down here and try to squeeze through the door and stuff, it's always a little daunting.
Kind of spooky when you're by yourself, but not so bad when you're in a group.
No, and there's really nothing down there.
Yeah.
So it's just a little walkway with dirt and stuff. So.
And then they presumed upon me to bring one bottle up and give it a taste. And so here, listen for their response.
Okay, someone taste it.
Okay.
There's only 3. Let me try. Not good.
It's not bad.
They're real good.
It's not bad, actually. It's not bad.
Oh, that is bad.
Yeah, they weren't fans.
So I was lucky enough to have a couple friends come out and help me cook this year. For this last session, Kathy came out from Manitoba and Leah came out from Ontario. They both did different things. Kathy helped me in the kitchen and Leah was our student dean. And she did a myriad of other jobs, not just hang out with students.
Really cool. You see in that picture with Kathy, there's 2, what are those things called? Aprons?
Yeah.
She had them. What happened?
Well, she had them embroidered for us. That says Chateau de la Grifferaie on it, and that is super fun. So now we have our own special professional looking.
Yeah, isn't that great? 3 of them.
I love it.
Even nicer. So she went in to have them printed, and then went to the printer, and he heard kind of what was going on, and he decided to do them for free just because he wanted to be encouraging. Nice. Super nice. So she was fantastic to have her from Manitoba, and then from Ontario, our friend Leah. And here she is bike riding with Hadley and Lauren, I think.
Yeah.
We picked up 3 bikes from the Brocont, just so guys could go for a little bike ride, lots of fun. Leah was fantastic, super hard worker. She did the bakery run every morning, did the night check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did breakfast.
Yeah,
Got
she
to meet
did.
students.
Yeah, she did lots of cool little things with students over the day and the weeks. And then when Kathy had to leave, she came down and helped in the kitchen too.
Yeah, so
And
we
she
are
did garbage and
super
recycling.
fortunate.
She did a whole bunch of stuff.
And also we have students too. We're not alone doing this. Like people are, I mean, we work hard for sure, but the students help too. Here we have Max and Maddie.
Yep.
They're doing dishes.
They all have jobs they rotate through. Dishes, setting tables, clearing tables, serving food. All of those kind of things, and cleaning the house and vacuuming and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we've often said a few times, I think that it's kind of like Downton Abbey, except we're like not just the lord and ladies, we're also the servants.
Well, they get to be upstairs and downstairs.
Everyone takes a turn, and you're really strategic about it too. You'll put people on that don't know each other so that they get to know each other. It's kind of a community thing.
It is.
And then here you have a shot of the eating. Now I've slowed it down because I didn't have a long shot. And we really put a lot of thought into that. And honestly, Leslie's put a lot of thought into that. And we decided to go with 5 tables of 4. And there's a reason for that. Why do we do that, Bess? Instead of a big, long table?
Well, it's obvious, I suppose, but it helps everybody have to talk, right? When you have a big, long line of people, you kind of talk to the 2 people that you have, which is not awful or a little bit across. But this way, you literally are in one circle. You have 3 other people to talk to. And if you don't talk, it's kind of obvious. So hopefully, even for the quiet folks like me, or the chatty ones like you, both get a chance to be able to then talk and have a conversation and get to know each other a little more, where you maybe wouldn't if you were in a big table of 8 or 9 or 10.
I actually really believe in this. And I personally don't like it. I don't, to be honest, because like when you're a person like me, you like telling stories and you want 10 people at the table to laugh and you want all the attention and all of that. But with 4 people, it's less of the attention, but everybody has to be engaged. You can't hide. And so, you know, it sort of forces you to listen to people. And yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's a great strategy. And the students, as you can see, they sit with different people and they move around and they get to know folks. And it's community kind of is really the heart of what we're doing, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah, it's the secret sauce. From there, they all went to midterm breaks.
Yeah, semester break. So they had all chances to go wherever they wanted. They could plan their own little trip. Some of them planned to go to England. It was a Jubilee weekend, if you can imagine, which is crazy. But they did it, and they had a great time, saw tons of stuff.
Others went to St. Malo and I think La Rochelle.
Yep.
That was fun too, but the Queen's Jubilee obviously was the big one. Here's my favorite picture from the midterm break. This is one of our guys, Drew. He went to Kensington Palace and he wrote us back, he wrote one of them and said, hey, Kensington's got nothing on the Grifferaie. And we were like, yeah, on the inside it probably does.
So while they were there, we were cleaning and doing stuff, and we ran into the city to Angers because we had noticed that there was a light for sale in one of the stores, and I really wanted to check it out before it was gone.
And also this couch that we're sitting on, to be honest.
That's true. That's true.
And so this is pretty exciting. We picked up a light, and it's kind of like the little sibling of the Grand Salon's light. It looks kind of similar, but a little bit smaller. But here it is. Look, there's the old one, which I think was originally in the foyer. Oh, there's the new one. Isn't that great?
It's better.
And it was secondhand, pretty reasonably priced. So it's a beauty. And that room is such a beautiful room.
It is. It's lovely.
So now we have a more adequate light for our classroom. It really actually was a bit dark. Of course, the young people can all read in the dark, you know. Okay, now this is fun too. Okay, so here is the first group coming back from their thing, and they're so excited to see Mr. Bingley. Now, what you don't see, one moment before this shot, I started recording too late. So we're walking up to the Chateau, and then what happens is Mr. Bingley is standing there perched in the window looking out, like super resolute, just looking out. All the kids see him and they start going, Mr. Bingley, and they're excited. And then he gets excited. He runs downstairs, comes through the door, and he sees all of them. They're all cheering for him. And what does he do? He lies on his back because he knows he's going to get, belly rubs. So that's super, super fun.
Yeah, it's funny.
In a lot of ways, Mr. Bingley is kind of the star of the show sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. You know, some people underestimate what an animal can do in a room. But Mr. Bing is really quite wonderful with all the students, and they love him to bits, and he loves them back even more.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anyone that's ever been here that hasn't left loving Mr. Bingley.
Yeah.
So he's been a lovely boy.
Yeah, he's
site.
huge, and he's so cute too for the publicity. By the way, I had this honest thought the other day. Mr. Bingley was getting a haircut, and I was thinking, if we were a business, we could honestly consider this Bingley haircut a business expense because it's such a big part of what we're doing. You don't think so?
No problem.
Oh, we didn't. IRS, we didn't. But we probably could, I think. Okay, so here we go. Back for the second half of the session. We've got a good light in our classroom, and now we're back to reading through the New Testament, watching the Bible Project videos. There's our students, good bunch. Up until this year, we did not have one absence. This year, we had our first absence. Very depressing. We also did fun games, like you've seen us talk about Chateau Mafia. I love this picture. It feels like a Renaissance picture. This is the students arguing about whether somebody is mafia or not. Hadley's having no part of it.
The murderer.
Yeah, they're having a pretty significant debate. Lots of fun. And then here's some guys reenacting Darth Vader and Obi-Wan's
with the swords.
Laver fight. Yeah, they asked if they could have a really careful sword fight, and I said yes. I don't know if that was a good idea, but
oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, they're alive, so it worked out. Other little day trips we do are going to different chateaux in the area. This one's Chateau Doucet. It's one of our favorites. It's great. It's the one that inspired Sleeping Beauty, and the students always love it.
It's such a beauty. And also, we went to the D-Day beaches. Pointe du Hoc, is that right? Pointe du Hoc. This is the first time we were to there, where I think it was the Marines climbed up the cliff on D-Day. And of course, eating at Lidl and Aldi. Here they're having a little bit of a picnic. Now, in the second half of the semester, we always have the banquet.
We do. We just try to have fun, dress up, have hors d'oeuvres and a little drink before we go into the dining room. And they kind of have a good time. They take good pictures and have fun, and they feel like they're being fancy in the chateau.
Yeah, I was trying to decide if we could show some of their pictures. There's certainly, that's the fancy drinks that you made were incredible. Now, also, here we have to stop for a second. We had very special guest speakers, the Mackey family, Tim and Jessica and their 2 kids. While they came, the day they came, we found out we had a couple guys that were getting sick a little bit, and we're like, it was no big deal. You know, they were just kind of feeling a little under the weather. And then we were all sort of quarantined together, so we weren't too worried about what it was. But then when we had people coming in from the outside, we thought, man, maybe we should do the responsible thing and do a test. We tested, and sure enough, we had a couple kids that had COVID. So I called the Mac. He said, hey, I don't know if you guys want to come, because this is kind of, you guys haven't had it yet. And they were super good. We had a kind of a room off to the side. They stayed, we had them eat outside for safety, and they came anyways, and they taught. Now, maybe Dr. Tim Mackey, actually kind of a world famous biblical scholar. He's one of the head brains behind the Bible Project, which I think has 300 million views on YouTube. They do some incredible work. If you're interested in the Bible, you should check their stuff out. It's fascinating. But they're also a lovely family.
They are. They were lovely to have.
And they were total good attitudes. There they are during the banquet. Yeah.
Sadly, they stayed outside. But what can you do when the circumstances? So anyway, again, we had a nice little picture with them, which was nice at least. And I think they all had a good time.
So with the quarantine, all of us were kind of on this 25-acre property with a fence, so we didn't have to worry about infecting the other world, but we did want to protect our students that hadn't had it. So there we have 2 of our kids that may or may not be sick. They were kind of stuck in their rooms looking out, but we got through it. Everybody was fine. So back to class, and we kept reading through the scriptures, and sometimes we do a little bit of music too, worship.
Yeah.
Many more became believers. They said to the woman, "We no longer believe just because of what you said. Now we have heard for ourselves, and we know that this man really is the Savior of the world."
To round up the end of the session, we always do a second swing, and it's usually a south swing over into Italy. And this year, we did a whole Italy tour.
Just Italy this time. Often we'll go into Austria and stuff. But this was a little shorter, only 6 weeks.
So lots of gelato.
And we surprised them with the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
We did.
They didn't know we were coming, and we just pulled up, and they were pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. And of course, some of the standard posed photographs that you would expect when you're at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Leaning Tower of Pisa, that's about right. And then on to Florence, where we stayed a couple nights.
On to Tuscany.
Tuscany.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Tuscany. It was so beautiful. It was an amazing it was super hot in Italy this year. We cooked to death. But Tuscany is always beautiful. There's a pool. They were very excited for weeks before we left about this. And they had a good time.
Yeah, and then on to the Vatican and to Rome. Vatican's always incredible. We definitely got some oohs and ahs when we went into St. Peter's Basilica.
And so you should.
And so you should. The biggest church in the world, they say. I don't know if that's true. There's a lot of churches in the world, but
Yeah,
that's awfully
it's
big and
impressive.
awfully beautiful.
Yeah.
We also have our students do presentations on different things that they're interested in studying on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a class presentation. It's fun. They learn, and the rest of us learn while we're listening. And so that's always a great aspect of it too.
Of course, we also went and saw the Pantheon.
Yeah.
Always beautiful inside. Always an amazing
Trevi
feat of
Fountain,
architecture.
Spanish Steps, the Colosseum and the Forum.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of pictures of all of these, but we did get a couple shots of
All of them always good.
Yeah, Rome's such an incredible historical city.
It is.
Yeah,
It is. The entrance to the Roman Forum right there.
yeah. The Forum is always my favorite. Here we have Victoria giving her presentation. She's studying to be a teacher too, so
It
good
was
little
good.
experience.
So we lived in a new area of Rome this time when we stayed by the Piazza Popolo. Yeah. And really cool, actually. And that was the shot of that. Had a really cool gate, one of the gates of the city, and it was fun being there.
Lots of fun. And then the long drive home went through Switzerland, which is another student favorite. And even though it was raining out, we just ate in a grocery store, and some of them found a couple minutes to get down to the lake and look at some of the mountains, even with the
Yeah,
clouds.
and they said the water was super clear and pure, and it's just beautiful there.
Yeah, they loved it. So it was a great trip. Once again, we just really enjoyed getting to know the students. We think it can be a life-changing opportunity, if for no other reason than just experiencing community, living with people for 6-8 weeks. You just get to know them, and you build relationships, and it's life-changing. To say nothing of reading through the New Testament, which is also
the point.
Yeah, exactly, the huge part of the point. So we were extremely tired. I think it was 120 days we'd been in France, and I think 112 of them we had people in our house. And so Leslie was cooking for between 15 to 20 people every day, 3 meals. You know, you can imagine, even just cleaning. I mean, they help us a lot, but still, it's tiring. So we just felt so
was good.
incredibly ambivalent because you love them and they become such a part of your life, but you're also so tired.
Yeah.
So we're now 3 days out from having the last group go, and we're starting to work on the Chateau. So we'll get back to doing some renovation videos.
You bet.
But
Full throttle straight ahead.
yeah, but it was great to have the last 4 months doing kind of the heart of what we're trying to do.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and hope you're having a good summer. Watch for the next video in a few days.